Good morning, my dear learners. In this Unit 4 and Chapter 1, I started teaching you the uses of do, does, and it. And I have given you some uses of do also. Do has many uses, almost 10 uses, Try to master them. Try to use them in your own sentences. Try to make as many sentences as possible with them. Try using them with your friends, with your teachers, with the members of the family, or anyone who knows English well. Don't hesitate using them. You take some forms. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be hasty in using all and mastering them in a short span of time. Take your own time. It's a long journey. Take one or two expressions and use them and try to master them. After you feel that you have mastered them, means you are able to use them very effortlessly, very naturally. They have become a part and parcel of your knowledge. Then take two more expressions and use them and master them. And after that, take some more. That's how you should travel with anything. While you're learning anything, this is the way. You can't do all things at a time. Can you? No, we can't, naturally. Well, in this chapter 2, I'm going to teach you how do can be used as a helping verb. Do is very helpful in making many things, as a helping verb. In my previous chapter, I taught you do can be used as a main verb, as a helping verb also. And the exercises I've given there is a blend of or a mixture of helping verb as well as main verb. Here in this chapter, I would like to focus my attention, and I would also want you to focus your attention on how to use do as a helping verb. Right. Helping verb means, I told you, a verb that helps. A verb that helps you. Helps what? Helps main verb. Main verb to say something. So any verb that helps the main verb, or some people like to call it chief verb or principal verb. So any verb that helps main verb becomes an auxiliary verb, technical name, and general name is helping verb. I hope I'm clear. Now, do has three uses. Three uses as a helping verb. Otherwise, do has three functions to perform when is used as a helping verb. First one, do as a helping verb is used to make negative sentences. To make negative sentences. How? Let me give some examples. She reads books. What's the verb here? Reads them. Its negative is she does not, or doesn't also can say, doesn't read books. Okay. Next, they play cricket. Its negative is they do not play cricket. Okay, what's the verb here? These sentences, sentence 1 and sentence 2. In sentence 1, the verb is reads. Here it is called assertive sentence or positive sentence. Assertive sentence or positive sentence is nothing but the sentence which does not contain any negative words like no, not, never, nothing, hardly like that. Next here, in order to make a negative, read is there. This is main verb, She reads not books or she not read books cannot make negatives. There you have to take the help of a helping verb. Here, do. This is the verb here, does. Does plus read. It's do plus play. Am I clear? In the past tense, for example, if you want to go with the past tense, it would be did. I bought a camera. Its negative is I did not or I didn't, you can say. Buy, B-U-I, buy a camera. Did, buy. This is helping verb. This is main verb. The first function of do as a helping verb is to make negative sentences. Am I clear? Next, its second function we are going now. Function means here in this context work. Second function of do as a helping verb is to make questions. To make questions. How she sings. Sings is the verb. Its main verb. It has no verb after it or before it also. In order to make a question, you have to use either do or does depending upon the context. Does she sing? My neighbors, let us call plural, help us. Okay, here, do your neighbors. Do your neighbors. Help you? It becomes a question, right? The second function of do or does, do and its forms you can say. We say do, but any one of the forms we can use. Do, does, or did. She sings becomes, does she sing? What's the verb here? Does. It's the main verb. Helping verb and main verb. Again, helping verb and helping, main verb. Am I clear? Next, let's move on to the third use of do as a helping verb. The third use of do as a helping verb is to emphasize a statement, to emphasize, to stress rather, to emphasize. Emphasize a statement. How? For example, imagine that Chandra is asking a conversation between. I always go with the conversations because the conversation will help you understand the point very easily, The situation, the context will help you. How words can be used and how the meaning is to be derived. And Chandra is asking, who has painted this picture? Who has painted this? Chandra has asked this question, put this question to Rajita. Now Rajita is giving reply. It's I. It is I who have painted the picture. It's I who have painted it. And Chandra is not aware of this talent of Rajita. He says, surprisingly perhaps, very surprisingly, or say some unknown fact, very strange. You paint, to this, Rajita can say or can use do to give emphasis what she has said here. How can she say? Yes, you paint, surprising, exclamation, exclamation ends with a surprise, astonishment, surprise, anger, and many more things, Here, you paint. This is Rajita says, yes, I do paint. Paint we generally use. Without this, I paint. It's a statement, It's an adjective form. In order to give force or stress to emphasize what she has said here in the second one, she is adding do. To emphasize a statement, we can use do here. Yes, I do paint. Am I clear? One more example. She looks beautiful. What's the verb here? Looks. In order to emphasize her beauty, you can add and say like add do or does. She does look. We simply add does there. Don't think does is working there as a helping verb. It's help, but to emphasize, it's a helping verb, but as an emphasize, she does look beautifully. She does look beautiful. Emphasis. Am I clear? Similarly, suppose your friend is a poet, has written many poems, has got a prize for his poems, and you happen to read that poem or see that poem along with your friend's name, which is published in a magazine. You got astonished. Immediately you rang up to him and saying, do you paint? Yes, I do paint, suppose he says. Or here paint, I'm sorry. Do you write poetry? No. Yes, I do write. If you say, yes, I do write poetry, I do write poetry. Write is the main verb. To this you are adding emphasis with do. Am I clear? The cinema does interest you. The cinema interests you is good. The cinema does interest you. The story does interest you means you are giving force to the main verb. The cinema or the story does interest you means it appeals to you. Am I clear? Next. Let's go with some dynamics of this helping verb. In order to make negatives, interrogatives, keep these small fundamentals in mind so that it becomes quite easier for you to make negatives and interrogatives with the verbs category I am doing. Right. Negatives. Split form you can call it. If you are able to keep this in mind, you can split form. Right. What? First, category 1. Under this category 1 verbs, go, come, write. If you find what are these go, come and write, tell me. They are present tense verbs. They are infinitive otherwise. Again I repeat to you, as and when the occasion demands, Every verb has 3 forms, you know very well. Telling the 3 forms of the verbs are known as conjugation. Do, did, done. Write, wrote, written, come. Write, wrote, written. Come, came, come. Similarly, go, come and write. These are the first form of the verbs. Otherwise, the present tense verbs. Okay, if you find present tense verb in a sentence, try to keep this rule in mind. These are to be split like this: do plus go, do plus come, and again do plus write. If you are able to split this present tense verb into 2 like this, every go, do plus go. Every present tense verb is split into do plus its the form. Suppose write, do plus write. Run, do plus run. Swim, do plus swim. If you are able to get the split form to your mind, you are able to make the negative sentences and questions very quickly. In the conversations, you have to be fluent. Fluency comes to you when you keep all these things in mind. First category and second category of verbs. What are they? These words have S or ES forms. I told every verb has 5 forms. For example, go, went, gone conjugation. Its extended form, go plus ing, going, and its created form, S or ES form, writes like that, 5 forms. I also told you the first form go, base form, and the last one created form, both are used for present tense only. Then what is the difference? This also I made it very clear to you in my previous lessons. S or ES with third person singular numbers. Now, suppose you find like this: goes, comes, writes. Then how do you make S forms? Then does. Does go. Make it a point. Because of goes, you have written does. Once you have written does or S or S form, they should be base form. Go. Not does goes. Remember. Come. Does plus come. Does plus write. Okay. Third category. It's past tense, go past tense what? Went. Come fast and what? Come, came, come again. I'm sorry. Come past tense came. Go went past tense. Come came past tense. And write wrote. When you find these verbs in the sentences, which you want to turn them into negatives or ask questions over them, it should be like this. Did plus go. Make it a point. Went equal to did plus go. Went, because of went I have written did as a helping verb, and it should be, after writing did, you should write always present tense verb only. Again, tell me, did plus came, can I write? No, it's wrong. I told you now, did plus came, how can you write? Just I have told you, did plus present tense verb, and similarly, did plus come, you should write. Again, did plus write. Okay? 3 categories of verbs, Here, it's natural for you to ask me a question. Sir, when should we use do, does, did? Should we use do, does, did in every sentence which you want to turn into negatives and interrogatives? No, not at all. Your task would be confined to this task of using do, does, did in the sentences to make negatives and interrogatives is limited to only 2 tenses. They are simple present tense and simple past tense. I read only with the simple present. Simple present and simple past. Can you master this? How can you master this? Only when you make sentences. Take as many verbs as possible. Suppose your mind should be like a mercury. Mercury passes very quickly. Suppose Ilayaraja composes wonderful music. Ilayaraja composes wonderful music. On this you want to put a question. Your concentration should be, or your focus should be on composes, composes second category. S is there. Well, in order to make the question, does Ilayaraja compose wonderful music? Oh. A.R. Rahman doesn't give cheap music. Negatives. You will be able to make negatives and interrogatives very quickly, very fluently, only when you keep the small dynamics in mind. Present tense, do. Plain verb, we can call them plain verb. S or S form, does. Past tense, did. We had shootings yesterday of the English Channel. We had. Did you have English Channel? Did you have shooting of English Channel yesterday? Manoj had lunch with me last night. Did Manoj have lunch with you last night? How fluently you would ask depends upon how well you remember this structure, small dynamics you can call it. I hope now you'll be able to use this well. A small technique I tell you. Take some 15 to 20 verbs. Go, come, eat, drink, write, sit, teach, sing, direct, like that many. Try to split into do like this. Do plus. And add S or S to forms to all 20 verbs, like this. Next, turn the first category of 20 verbs into past tense. Go, went, came, wrote, taught, bought, had, painted, spent, like that. Try to split the verbs into like this. Did plus go, did plus come, did plus write. If this is in your mind, you will be able to write easily. For example, Children in our locality play cricket every day. Suppose I wanted to make a question. Your focus should be on the web first. You catch the web. What's the web here? Play. Does this fall into category 1 or category 2 or category 3? Play, plain verb. Immediately, do plus play. Between do and play, you should write the subject. Do the children in your locality play cricket? The answer would be yes, I do. If it is present, if it is positive. If it is negative, you should say no, they don't. Let me touch upon this point also now. How to give otherwise negatives and interrogative short answers. Look at this. Do children in your area play cricket? So do play. If this answer is positive, suppose they play, you can say yes. Instead of children, we have to use they. Yes, they do. Also, yes, they do means yes, they play. Here you might ask me, sir, can't we use play directly? No. In giving short answers, you should always use the verb only, helping verb only. Similarly, one more question. Negative I'll give. Does Ramalakshmi write poetry? Does Ramalakshmi write poetry? The answer would be, if it is positive, yes. Instead of Ramalakshmi, which is a noun, we have to use pronoun. Yes, she does. Suppose the same question, I turn like this, Does Ramalakshmi write English poetry? A poetry in English otherwise? Does Ramalakshmi write poetry in English? No, she doesn't. Next, does Manoj exercise? The answer would be no, he doesn't. We don't use Manoj. Doesn't. Suppose the action is past tense, how do you use it? Did they vacate the house? Did he vacate the room? The answer would be, if it is positive, yes, he did. If it is negative, you should say no. Positive means yes. No, he, you have to add this one. No, he didn't. Negative answer. I hope I'm clear. And how to pronounce this do plus not don't, does plus not doesn't, and did plus not. Just I'll give a small tip, and then with this the chapter comes to an end, my dear learners. For example, when these two are written separately or individually or two words otherwise. I do not like sweets. Do not separate words. No. This you have to read. I do not like sweets only. Suppose these two can be contrasted like this, Contrast means making two into one. Suppose it's written like this. I don't like sweets. Here you should not read I do not like sweets, because they're not two separate words. They are as one word. How do you say don't? Not don't. Don't. Okay. Next. Displace not. She doesn't help you. She doesn't help you. How do you say it? Doesn't, not see, D-O-Z-E-N, doesn't, not like this. See how it is pronounced? It should be pronounced like this. Doesn't. See how do you say? Doesn't. See, not doesn't. Your chin should not go up. Your chin should come downstairs. Doesn't, not doesn't. No, she doesn't. Otherwise, you can say doesn't. How do you say? Doesn't. No, she doesn't. Not doesn't. Not ENT. Don't pronounce as ENT. Doesn't, not doesn't. Here, it should be I. Doesn't. Similarly, not don't. See, not don't. Doesn't. The last one. Never say this didn't. Most of you are in the habit of perhaps because you are used to hear this as such. Didn't, don't say. Didn't. What is missing here? What becomes silent? D. See? Didn't, you should say. Did you have breakfast, Manoj? No, I didn't. I didn't, don't say. Because most people do not say like this, you should also not say. You should go with the majority, Right. Thank you very much. I hope this small chapter with do as a helping verb helps you a lot. How to use do and to make questions, to make negatives, and to make emphasis. And here, as a part of it, part B, part C, and I have given the categories of verbs also, when to use do, when to use does, and when to use did also. Well, and I have given the small tip about pronunciation of don't, doesn't, didn't also. Thank you very much. Bye.